Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a demo on Apache Scala. And coming to me, having 9.5 years of experience in Spark Scala, Spark with Java. And apart from this, I have worked on a live streaming application like Kafka and a microservice based application, Spring Boot. So I have experience using Spring Boot on Spark. So I will be using Spark microservices using Spring Boot. And apart from this, I have a vast experience of nearly 6.5 of relevance, 6.6.5 years of relevant experience on Apache Hadoop and its components and Spark, Scala, Java, Kafka, all those things. And coming to Hadoop and its components, I have experience on Hive, Scoop, HBase, Pig. So this is my Hadoop experience or big data experience. And coming to my Java experience, I have experience on REST API and J2EE. And coming to the scope of the Scala demo, so after this demo, you'll understand the Scala code in production environments and open source projects. So I will be explaining you how to write a code locally and deploy it on a cluster. Okay, for example, if you take Scala code, Spark with Scala or anything. So I'll give practical knowledge, and with my experience, I'll give practical experience also. And coming to think code differently with functional programming. So the main flavor of Scala is functional programming. So I will explain you what is functional programming, and we'll dig deep into this and write applications in Scala from scratch. So this one also will cover, and coming and contribute to products and open source projects written in Scala. So there are many number of projects available online. If we so I will give you a walkthrough how to search for projects, open source projects through Git repository. So there are innumerable Git repos available. So I will teach you how to get them into our working environment, how to run them, all those things. So we can see that. And coming to finally, skills to start developing with powerful tools on top of Scala. Example, Spark. So mainly Spark is a programming, Spark is a framework, is a processing framework on top of big data. So in a similar way, we have Akka, Play, all those things. So all these languages, all these frameworks require a programming language. So already we have many programming languages in market like Java, Python. Okay, so Java and Python we can run on Spark. Similarly, Scala also we can run on Spark. Okay, so why Scala is ahead of Java? So all those things we can require. And in the final, once you get a good knowledge on Scala, in the final classes, I will give a just introduction of what is Spark, how to install Spark, and how to run a small Scala programs on top of Spark. For example, a word count program. Okay, a word count program on Spark with the help of Scala. Okay, so these things you will understand. And coming to the course outline, so the main things what we will be discussing in this coming 20 classes is introduction to Scala essentials. So Scala essentials will cover like the expressions, the functions, the string functions, the loops, okay, all those things. And coming to traits and loops in Scala. So traits and loops in Scala is about object oriented programming. So if you have small knowledge on Java, this chapter would be very easy. Traits and object oriented program. So traits are nothing but interfaces in Java. So if you have Java knowledge, then this chapter would be very easy. And coming to the fourth chapter is functional programming in Scala and use traits. So functional programming is a new topic. So that won't be in Java, and we would be diving deep into this functional programming because this differentiates Scala from other programming languages. Okay, and then after practice test and interview questions. So I will teach you how to face interview questions and a mock practice test with some 50 to 60 multiple choice questions I will give you that would help you in taking any certification or something. And apart from that, interview questions, so how to face an interview, all those things we can discuss. Yeah, and add on topics, as I said earlier, I will, as I'm a Spark developer, I'm using Scala, so I will help you how to install Spark and run Spark with Scala, that we would cover. And coming to projects, so this we will discuss, as I said, open source projects, I said, right? So while having our classes itself, I will be, so for example, if you are having class on traits or functional programming, so on the once the topic is completed, I will help you get searching a project in GitHub, an open source project, and getting it installed, and I will make it to run so that you can understand it. And coming to the lab setup, so here the prerequisites are, so either you should have a small knowledge on any programming language like Java. So Java is, if you have programming language on Java, it is the best thing. So that's what I can say. And computer science fundamentals like memory, running time, how programs compile and run. So for example, if you take a Java program, so without an IDE, IDE means integrated development environment. So we have many IDEs like Eclipse IDE, IntelliJ IDE. But so basic thing is, without an IDE, how we can run is like, for example, if you take Java or Scala, we would be installing them on our machine. Once after the installation, okay, we would be writing a small Java program or Scala program in a notepad. So to run that, we will be opening our command prompt, okay, and go to the bin directory of the installed Java, JDK. Installed JDK, we have a bin directory, and inside bin, we should run the Java C command or Scala C command for the compilation to run. So once the compilation is completed, then after we will be running. So how can we do it is Java C or Scala C, the file name, so the file which you have written in our notepad. Okay, so once that is compiled, it will generate a dot class file, and finally once we get the dot class file, we'll be saying like Scala, that file name, and then after we can see the output. This is a small fundamental thing, we don't use it often, just I will give you a small knowledge on it. And then after I will go through the IDE. So most of the time we'll be doing it through IDE only. Okay. So next one is some Java knowledge is a plus but not required. So that is not mandatory. If you have Java knowledge, then my work becomes very easy. So that's what. Just kidding. Okay. And coming to system requirements, 8 GB RAM machine, it would be suffice. And IntelliJ IDEA should be installed. Either IntelliJ IDEA or Eclipse. Anything is fine. But I would prefer IntelliJ IDEA. And additional course resources. So actually this is a very good website all about scala.com. So I have learned Scala from this website only, as I have started my career as Java developer. And in my project I got chance, I mean, I was working on Scala, so I learned from this website only. So I would be, so if I miss any, I mean, I would be referring those topics, and adding as an add-ons, I would be referring these topics from this website. Okay. So, and mock interviews, I coming to mock interviews, I would be personally taking the mock interviews. Okay. So I would be suggesting you where to improve. Okay, so what points, what topics you need to study. Okay, so that one I will take. And coming to certifications, so if you go to this website, we have many kinds of certification. So once you go through this website, if you, so there are free certifications and paid certifications also. So there are many certifications available. You can visit this link. And once you successfully complete your course, you will get a certificate of achievement from MindMajix. So once this is done, I will go through the small introduction topic about Scala. Coming to Scala, okay, let us start our course. So Scala is a programming language. Okay, it is defined to overcome the challenges which are faced because of Java. So in Java there are some drawbacks. Okay, because Java don't, I mean, Java is not 100% functional oriented programming language. So it is object oriented programming language. So whatever we want to do, I mean, whatever computation we want to complete or we want to do, everything should be done through a Java object. Okay, so that is not favorable every time. So that's why, to overcome the drawback, we have developed Scala. And Scala, it is compiled to Java bytecode, and it will be running on JVM. So JVM, so to install, I mean, to run Scala machine, a JVM should be installed, and then after we'll be installing a Scala SDE, Scala Development Kit. And Scala provides language interoperability with Java. Okay, so interoperability means whatever the libraries that are written in either language, either in Java or in Scala, you can be they may be referenced directly. We can run Java code on. So to be simple, as Java and Scala uses the JVM, okay, we can run the Java code or Scala code on JVM. And one more thing, in IntelliJ, so you can convert Scala code into Java code or from Java code into Scala code. So for example, you can write the Java code and convert that into Scala, okay, and vice versa. And coming to the object oriented properties, Scala is object oriented also, as well as functional. Okay, so we will discuss what is functional programming. So the functional programming, so the functions are treated as first class citizens, meaning in if you take in Java, the objects are treated as first class citizens. Okay, here, but the functions are treated as first class citizens means everything whatever you write, you can write it in functions without creation of object. So you can write a function in expression, you can return a function from one function to another function. Okay, so everything you can declare everything in a function. Okay, so we'll dig deep into in coming classes, and these are the following contents I will be covering. Okay, variables, variables and type, expressions. Okay, and then after, functions, call by name, call by value. So this is means like how we will be calling the function this. And coming to this is very important, smart operations on strings. So I will explain what operations we can do it on strings. Okay, as you if you have any Java background, so we have many operations on strings like split, okay, reverse, concat, all those things. And coming to this object oriented basics, so this is, I mean, like I will be explaining the encapsulation, all those things, inheritance. So if you take this inheritance, so how to implement them. So we have a concept called traits. Traits is nothing but it is similar to interfaces in Java. Okay, so all those things we will be covering. And apart from this, I will be covering the object oriented basics like encapsulation, all those things, and method notations and objects. So how to declare an object, all those things. Coming to case classes, this is a very important thing. So I will explain what is a case class. Okay, so case classes are similar to our Pojo classes in Java. So if you have a Java knowledge, you can understand. Explain everything right from scratch. Next chapter, so after object oriented programming, so in this in the before chapter we'll be seeing what is function. So just the basics of functional programming. So this is a deep dive into functional programming. Okay, and then after, collections. So this is very very important. So collection framework, so without a collection framework we cannot understand any programming language completely, because everything would be, so most of the complex requirements we will be dealing with collections. So collections example, as you know, list, array, map, all those things. So in Scala we have tuples. Okay, all those things. And coming to handling failure, so here I will be taking care of exception handling. So exception handling, as we already it is, we'll be seeing here, we'll be seeing it once again. And coming to why Scala, it is currently the hottest language because it inherits the properties of both Java and Python. So as already I have worked on, I mean, I didn't work much on Python, but some I have converted some Java Python scripts into Scala. So once I read those scripts, so okay, this is similar to our Scala only. So that thing. And coming to, it unlocks door to some latest technologies like Spark, Akka and more, as we have already discussed. And coming to what you will learn, so already discussed, understand source code in production environments and open source projects. And yeah, already these things we have discussed it, right? So that's I mean, that's about Scala. If you have any doubts, you can ask. So if you don't have any doubts, I will give you a, I mean, we will first run our small hello world program. Okay, so this is our IntelliJ. Okay, this is our IntelliJ IDE. So IDE means integrated development environment. Okay, so I will just explain how to run a Scala program, and today we'll wrap up the class. Okay, so this is our Scala code. Okay, hello world.scala. Okay, and this is our project. Okay, so in next class I will explain how to create a project from the scratch. Okay, now we will just see how to run it. Okay. Hello, you can see here, right? So in this simple example, we are trying to print this hello world, and this code successfully got compiled, and we are able to see the output here. Okay, and one more thing here is like I would be emphasizing more into practical. So I would be doing everything practical, and I mean I will be sharing the code here so that every day you need to complete it. So that way. So theoretically I will explain concepts only for 10 to 15 minutes, and the rest 45 minutes we would be focusing more into practicals. Okay, so that's about demo. Thank you so much.